What's your favorite ghost horror movie?
Oh,
What's your favorite ghost story?
see that one's a tricky one. I think it would have to be. Oh, see, this is the one where I should have done a bit more thinking. I think it would have to be the others or the orphanage. Um, I'll go
Good,
the others. I'll go the others.
very good pick.
Yeah,
I the others I was actually thinking about this today when I'd written my question because obviously, granted, Lost Boys is for me, guys. I didn't actually mention that, but
yeah,
Lost Boys is
yeah.
my
I was
favorite
gonna
film.
say, yeah, I was gonna ask you. Yeah.
But yeah, the others I was thinking about that today, but also I was thinking about Sinister
Oh, yeah,
because for me that movie is almost a perfect film,
yeah.
almost a perfect horror movie. Same with like Insidious. That one
Mm,
for me, it had what I call the Jeepers Creepers moments. This is like the moment where I was thinking I was watching a Perfect 10 film and I was kind of like, maybe didn't need that little moment. Now, the film's, how old's the film? The film's 10 years old. I'm doing a bit of a spoiler. If people haven't seen it, they should have seen it anyway. But it's the moment where you see Patrick Wilson's character going to get his son Dalton and the demon's there kind of like sharpening his nails.
yeah.
I kind of felt like it was a Jeepers Creepers kind of moment because he's listening to Tiptoe to the Tulips,
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of like the creeper listening to Jeepers Creepers. I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know about that. But other than that, I actually thought it was a perfect horror movie, perfect scary movie because that little boy in the corner,
yeah,
that terrified the crap out of me. I was so scared, and it's really
yeah.
hard to scare me sometimes. So that's an achievement. That was pretty good.
No, I mean that's still got one of the great jump scares with the lawnmower. Like I remember watching that film and it was just it came so far out of nowhere, but it never felt out of place. And that's where jump scares I find very tricky, because you just it was like I remember watching Paranormal Activity 4 and all they could do was get cats and music stings. So it was like to have something that's well crafted and uh,
I think the biggest thing that really added to that kind of jump scare because
mm,
you were so on edge with the score they added to all the Super 8s.
mm,
It just put you on edge the entire time, regardless of which particular family you were watching on them. You were freaking out the entire time. So that's why I was probably too focused on that score. And when that hit me, I was like, nah, nah, turn it off, turn it off. That was probably the only movie I've ever watched where I was living at a house where my bedroom was upstairs, where I was thinking, I've got to outrun the demon that's going to be in the hallway because the light switch is here. And I'm gonna have to run over there before it gets me in the dark. I felt like that with that particular movie. I was freaking out trying to get back to my room. Seriously, I
yeah,
was. I was kind of like,
yeah.
oh, I don't know, or just run. But yeah, I didn't make it
But
in the end, so obviously because I'm here.
but talking of that, like Insidious gave me one of my favorite moments is because I watched it really late at night and I had old plug-in earphones. Me and you are of the age where we had the old plug-ins, and I put it
Yes.
into my I put it into my TV, and I had these big cans on, and I was watching Insidious, and the sound mix was going around my ears, and I just had to keep stopping the film, looking around because I thought things were going. What was like, what?
I was
You
found that I remember years ago when I watched the Blair Witch Project on DVD. I thought that watching some of the behind the scenes featurettes, I feel like they'd
Mm,
added little extra bits to those featurettes, so you were still kind of freaking out while you were watching those.
yeah,
To the point I was like watching it in my parents' place. I was probably about like 11, and I'm hearing noises. I'm like, is my dad deliberately knock tapping on the door? Like, is he deliberately doing it? Because that's
yeah,
the thing he would have done. But I've
yeah,
like looked, I'm like, no one's there. I'm like, is it that? So I've actually rewound it and played it. I'm like, you've put these sounds in to freak me, you shifty. Good work. Like,
yeah,
Jesus, it freaks you out. Oh no, it really freaks
yeah.
you out.
Oh, so.
Well, sorry, go on. No, go on.
Oh, no, 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 no. You're right. I was agreeing with you. Yeah, like when you can get like those like extra feature bits and stuff. Yeah, you start going. "Oh, people playing tricks on me."
Yeah, it's funny that you watch those little extra bits there and it makes me freak out. But if you listen to the commentary, it just ruins the entire mystique. Them going like,
Yeah,
oh, the noises and figures are the tents. Oh, that's the kids my mum used to look after. We just recorded
oh,
them playing in the front yard, and you're just like, oh, that's ruined it. Still freaks me out, but it
yeah.
ruined filmed it a little bit for a second. So, what would be your favorite slasher film? Doesn't have to be a franchise one, can be a one-off.
Okay.
What would be your favorite slasher?
Franchise. Hmm. I've thought about this, and I think for me it's got to be Hellraiser. Whilst I kind of grew up with Saw, and Saw was that kind of franchise like mid 2000s that I was getting really into. I followed all seven movies. Um, the last two for me, and what Lionsgate are trying to do, keep rebooting it, trying to keep expanding the legacy of it, has really destroyed that franchise for me. And even though Hellraiser has some awful installments, I I think for me it's the Clive Barker mythos, even around a lot of the straight to video sequels.
Yeah.
But for me, like one to four and the new remake are better than most horror movies I've seen. They just tap something into me where they can make pain and viscera so beautiful and really kind of it's like watching that new Pinhead in Hellraiser. I just found they were so beautiful, like even though they've got like scarring and everything, and it was just
Mhm.
I just sat there, yeah, it was such a thingy. But you, what about you?
I'm gonna say my favorite slasher one. Yeah,
Oh,
it's tricky. It's a Wes Craven one, so
yeah,
I think you got an idea of probably two. Now, one of them I don't know if I could really call a slasher because it's more of a horror sci-fi if you think of a Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah,
And he actually kind of saw it as like a sci-fi fantasy.
yeah,
But I think I might go for Scream.
yeah,
Yeah, because I remember we had it was like a master copy of the film we got from uh a friend of my dad's because he was running a video shop. This guy. So
yeah,
we're watching that. It's probably about 11. So obviously, I'm telling people I'm going to watch Scream tonight. Everyone's like, you can't watch that. It's an MA movie. You got to be 15. I'm like, no, I'm watching it. The opening scene with Drew Barrymore,
mm,
that was one of the best scenes in horror I've ever seen. It
yeah,
had me on edge. I hadn't been. Wes Craven has this thing where he's able to scare me, and sometimes it's
mm,
really hard for that to happen. Like I love him because he scared me with Freddy Krueger. When I
yeah,
was really little, my parents were watching it and walked in, wanted to watch a horror movie. My dad's like, you can't watch it, you'll get scared. And I'm like, no, no, it'll be fine. So he let me watch a little bit, pretty much to say, if you get scared, it's your own fault.
mm,
And I thought Freddy was funny. I thought he was great. He was having a laugh. He was having a good time. Till I realized what he was doing, and he was killing people, unaliving.
yeah,
Very limited of what I can say on
yeah,
TikTok live. But doing
yeah,
that in people's dreams, I freaked out. I couldn't watch him for like maybe 10 years. So my dad would be like, hey, Michelle, Freddy's on. No, leave the room. I couldn't do it.
yeah,
But yeah, Wes Craven managed to scare me again with that film. And obviously, completely different vibe from the other films. The other
mm,
films get a little bit more campy, they get a bit more fun. But the tone they had with that original Scream, fantastic. Brought back the slasher film. Absolutely love it.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like now I've got you here in person, I can start asking you questions. But like,
Yeah,
what for someone like myself who's not a big Wes Craven fan, what is it for you who do you really enjoy him? What is it with him that you find really kind of special and that connects with you?
I do find that there are just some films that. Jesus, a good question. You put me on the spot. I was worried about putting you on the spot with
No, no,
questions.
no, 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 no. I was
Ah,
like, I'm
you're
not
not
having this all
prepared
my
for
way.
questions.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I don't know. It's like watching People Under the Stairs. Like it's not the greatest film. There's fun attached to it, and I feel like he really took advantage of the fun that you can have in horror.
Mm,
Because I don't know, like you can have like a cheesy horror movie and it worked. You can't have a cheesy comedy, it doesn't work. You can't have a cheesy drama, it doesn't work.
yeah,
But the cheese or level of cheese he had in his stuff just worked perfectly.
yeah,
And I don't know, like there's cheese in A Nightmare on Elm Street, but there's just something about the world he created. It's just like you can run from every other slasher, but you can't run from Freddy. Your mind will make you face him regardless of when you want to. And I don't know, he was, yeah, especially with like Nightmare on Elm Street. He just, you've never seen a villain that you could see the joy on his face. Granted, it's distorted, but you can see how much Freddy enjoys doing what he does. And I think, well, my love really started with that whole franchise, but I don't know. I really can't think of a time he's really faltered, and he has tried different things. Like he went from doing no help producing the remakes for The Hills Have Eyes, and then doing like
Mm.
Red Eye, which is completely different genres, but they still work so well. So I just thought he was just a kind of a good all rounder with thrillers and horror in general.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's what I mean. Because it
Yeah,
sounds like it's like the rules of the universe, especially like how you were talking about Nightmare. That's right. I'm not trying to hijack your show, but it was just
no,
like, yeah, like it,
sure.
it was it was because of the conversation. Yeah, it sounds like the rules. And don't get me wrong, I love that original Nightmare on Elm Street. I've recently gone back and rewatched all of them, and I think that's the thing is he set so many ground rules, and like you say, with that character, his fun in just being an absolute menace to these kids is just, like you say, the gleefulness. Yeah, it's oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
because when it comes to like Michael Myers, especially in the first one, when he's like,
Mm.
unaliving a lady, he gets very heavy in the breath, and it's like you can tell he's kind of enjoying it more than most people will probably enjoy it. But there was something about just seeing the joy on Freddy's face because he knows you can't stop me. I'm fear. You can't make people
Yeah,
stop me. They tried doing with Freddy versus Jason, tried to erase him. Still didn't happen. Still didn't work in the end. But just something about the whole Elm Street mythology, I just can't get enough of. Robert Englund was actually going to be here in Melbourne a few years ago. He was going to be at the Astor. I think I've showed you a photo of the Astor, beautiful one-screen Art Deco theatre. He cancelled, and I'm like, I don't think he's going to be making many trips to Australia again, and I'm so gutted that I didn't have the opportunity. Hopefully, if I go to America another time, I get to see him. But I think I've lost my opportunity to see him. I bought a book
no,
for him to sign and everything. Like I was so gutted about
oh,
this.
yeah,
But
oh,
yeah, what happens? What can we do?
well, yeah. Hopefully one day at least, or you get to,
Hopefully.
yeah, that would be
But
a
I,
big
I have
one.
a feeling when I have a feeling when the news happens that we lose him, it's going to hit me hard. I remember when Wes Craven
Mm,
passed. Someone I was seeing at the time messaged me and he's gone, "Oh, Wes Craven passed," and then there was a little pause, and there was no emoji, no lol. He was like, "Are you okay?" Because I was kind of like,
mm,
"Oh my god!" It was like a relative died, so
yeah.
it's going to be a tough one. I can tell.